Hello, Larry Buller here. Today we're going to be talking about making a tapered shim for the Aspen RSM. Now Aspen gives us the maximum thickness allowable on this shim is 3/8 of an inch and the minimum thickness of 40 thousandths. So what we're going to do is use one of AvCam's special layers in order to make this shim, and it makes it very easy to draw. In your CAD program, all you have to do is draw two lines. These two lines detail the width and height of the shim that you want to make, and the layer name tells AvCam how much material is supposed to be removed at that line. For the line that I've got here, we've got a layer name called Wedge 0000. That means that at the back end of this shim, no material is going to be removed. 0000 is the number of thousandths of material that we're going to remove from the left side of that line to the right side of that line. On the top line, we're going to use a different layer name called Wedge 0335. So don't get confused. That's not the thickness of the shim. That's the amount of material you're going to remove. We are machining on the bottom side of this. So if you've got an antenna or something that's non-symmetrical, remember to mirror image it so your holes turn up on the right side. In the front here, we're going to remove 335 thousandths. From the bottom side, 0 going down to 335. Comes back up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. In order to cut out the shape of the antenna, we just put all of those entities on the outside layer. That causes the tool path to go on the outside. The inside, all the inside cutouts are on layer number 2. Once we save this, in this case, I've got the center, the origin in the center of the drawing that could just as easily be over here to the side. We're going to be using material that's 3/8 of an inch thick and 6 inches long. When selecting the material to cut out your shims, make sure you leave enough material on top, bottom, and sides to support the cut. And so I've just drawn this out in the cyan color on a layer called blank. That's not a layer that we're going to cut. We just want some reference. That helps us lay it out once we get it on the machine. So let's just go on over to AvCam and see what we've got. So here we have the RSM file opened up in AvCam. We opened it. I've got all of the layers turned on. I've got layer 2 outside, Wedge 000, Wedge 0335. So they're all showing up here. What we want to do is just cut the shim first of all. So I'm going to turn off to and outside. So now we've got the 2 layers that we described earlier. Now we need to set a couple of settings within AvCam. We need to set the end mill diameter. We're going to use a 3/16 end mill. And I can actually just type in 3/16 if you don't know the decimal. And the cutting feed rate, 20 inches a minute, is fine. Rapid speeds are fine. All that. Zero tract is fine. Now, for the cutting depth for the shim itself is controlled exclusively by the layer name. The cutting depth, 0.375, is going to be the cutting depth that we will be cutting on the other layers, layer 2 and outside, that will be cutting all the way through. The Z cut depth does not affect the wedge or the shim at all. What does affect it, though, is the number of passes. 3 passes, we'll put in a 0.03, and this finish cut allowance also only applies to the areas that we're going to be cutting clear through. It does not affect the shim. So we hit OK. We can hit simulate. Now we're only doing the shim, and we're doing the first pass on the shim. So to cut this shim, it's going to take us approximately 30 minutes, 29.6 minutes. So when we've got that all cut, what we're going to do is we're just going to switch over to to and outside and unselect our wedge layers. And now our settings are already set for the cutting depth and layer, or the number of passes, finish cut allowance, all that's good. We can simulate that. There's our 3 passes, and that's only going to take 2.6 minutes. So now it's time to set it up on the Panel Pro, cut the piece out. We have a piece of material that is 4.5 inches by 6 inches, and I set the XY, or work 0, at 2 1/4 inches from the left edge and 2 3/4 inches from the top edge, just so we have enough material for this whole thing to cut out on. I have set Z0 on the top of the material, which is 3/8 of an inch thick. I have selected all of the layers: wedge 000, wedge 0335, layer 2 and outside, and they're going to be cutting all in one operation. I have selected a 3/16 end mill, as mounting holes can be cut with a 3/16 end mill. If we were going to use a larger end mill, we would have to just select the wedge layers to cut by themselves. So I've already set the work zeros. I've made sure that I've got coolant. We're going to put the splash guard in place because we're going to have a bunch of coolant running around all over. I have simulated the file, so let's put the splash guard on and have at it. I've hit the pause switch and the spindle switch so we can stop and take a look to see once where we're at. And we're just starting on the second pass, and the first pass is already cut, so we'll just continue on.